over their matter. It's just accountability in terms of, I think maybe I clarified, but I'm sure because I trust this man is maybe still I'm going to get now. Okay. Can you please?
Okay, Chair. No, thank you very much, honourable members. I think the Chair spoke on the subject. Yeah, Chair, if you allow me to just request that maybe we take the MEC release first, because the taking premium, the 18 premium, they are documents that are still in their office. They are bringing them against them. They assumed that when they bring the documents to the office of the speakers, because normally the documents are matching the bill, general repeal bill, they are distributed to all members. We don't have the copies, so they need to bring them when they come to the meeting. So that's why when we send an invitation, we normally state that they must bring copies that we accommodate members of the committee for that particular purpose. So, but they are busy bringing them again, they confirm that they will bring them. So we are sorry that we will consider the matter on our time, and that is normally the case. So I request that maybe we consider the Department of Community Safety first, and others will go next.
Honourable Minister, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think we should then, I would like to then propose that we take the proposal, however. The documents on the bills, as far as to my knowledge, we haven't received anything electronically. And I do think, because I'm going to raise with the department, and I hope I get the support of the Chair, but we can't have a situation where we are merely seen as a rubber stamp. It's not we are the law makers in this regard. So, but I'll have that discussion when the department is here.
I'm going to support you with that 100%. And this is where this man is very good into that space. I don't know why the legislature is not using it in that space, but it's fine. We are lawmakers, but we don't have a machinery. We are lawmakers, but we don't have a machinery. You know, some of us, we don't know how to compose these things and how to conceptualize. That's the right way. So they need to guide us, give us a nice framework so that we are conversant. Otherwise, some members will not even mind of what you are saying. But you are raising this important issue. Honourable members, let me then give over to the performance and monitoring and what? Monitoring and evaluation. Yeah. We had the longest recess. Yeah. So please pardon us when we forget these things. But I'm sure you will then introduce yourselves as a normal way, and then anyone who starts will then start because we are not taking any process of administering anything in terms of Mama Makube. Are you still in charge? The government just changed people. I don't know whether the 3 of you is you next time is the other one. And it was on a letter note.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I am still in charge. I am not voluntarily. In fact, I don't even know. I'm sitting here.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. My name is Musa Matabani. I'm the Deputy Director at the Office of the Premier under Monitoring and Evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, Honorable Members. My name is Bidi Melatebani, also part of the team monitoring the evaluation.
Thank you very much.
Chair, we sometimes have unnecessary reports in this committee with going to be a direction. However, if the lady is DDG now, today we're allowed to have a fight with her. Because she's acting.
You may continue.
I will not really go through it. Then the purpose on the next slide, the purpose of this presentation is to outline the non-financial performance of the department as it is at the end of the first quarter of 2023-24 financial year. And our role as the OTP is to analyze the performance of the department and to compile the report to be presented before this very same portfolio committee. Then we move on to slide number 3, which indicates the compliance of the department in as far as the submission of the reports is concerned, as guided by the guidelines of TPME, which is our national department. The department has been in full compliance with all the due dates. Then moving on to slide number 4, we now zoom in onto the performance of the department as per its sub-program or as per its directorates. As we can see there on monitoring evaluation, they planned 4 targets. They achieved all 4. Promotional safety, they had 1 target for the quarter. They achieved it. And then community police relations, they had planned 3 targets, achieving all 3. Policy and research, they had planned 2 targets, achieving all 2. Complaints registry and investigations, they had planned 3, achieving all 3. The last one is social crime prevention. They had planned 6, achieving all 6. And in total, for the first quarter, they had 19 in total, achieving all 19, which brings it to the performance of 100%. Then on the next slide is just a graphical illustration, which gives us all the green bars, which are 100%, as well as even the pie chart in terms of the average, it is 100%. And because there is no areas of non or underperformance, we just lifted a few achievements in terms of these 100%, and these include 15 school safety. This is now on slide number 7, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. 15 school safety programs were implemented at identified schools. 9 reports regarding the investigation of complaints were done. 1 social crime prevention program implemented per year was achieved in this quarter. 1 research report on policy and safety was also achieved. 3 community outreach programs were conducted. These would be things like public meetings, road shows, etc. 55 monitoring reports on compliance and implementation of the Domestic Violence Act 98 by the SAPS were also compiled. 27 community policing forums were assessed on functionality, and then 1 training workshop for CPF executive members was done per district. And the observation on the next page is that all indicators have been achieved for the first quarter of the financial year. And as members will also recall, this is normally the trend of this particular department when it comes to achieving its indicators as per what is on the document or on paper. Then on the next page, it's just a recap and a conclusion that we make a recommendation that the portfolio committee to note the performance of the department or of the secretariat for the first quarter of 2023-24 as follows. This program is actually program 2 within the Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport. And monitoring evaluation achieved 100% of their planned targets. Complaints registry and investigation also achieved 100% of their planned targets. Social crime prevention achieved 100% of their planned targets. Policy and research achieved 100% of their planned targets. From the next page, continue. Community police relations also achieved 100% of their planned targets. Promotion of safety also achieved 100%. And in average, this is also 100% in terms of the performance. That is all, Honorable Chair and members. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Should we go to all of them? Should we allow to? So I wanted just to comment on the conclusion.
I don't know whether my understanding is still lacking, but if you check your page, maybe let's say under monitoring, and you say it has achieved 100% of planned targets and did not achieve 0 in quarter 1. I was a little bit puzzled, but it's fine. You'll just tell us what's the meaning of your... Thank you. You may continue with others.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I will be presenting the Office of the Premier for the first quarter. And with your permission, Chair, I would like to continue with my presentation from slide number 3, which is the compliance schedule. And in terms of reporting, the department did submit their report within the due date. Slide number 3, compliance schedule. In terms of reporting, the department did submit their reports within the due date as prescribed by the DPME. Moving along to the next page, which is page number 4, the program performance for quarter 1. In program 1 administration, the Office of the Premier planned 19 indicators and all 19 were achieved at 100%. Program 2, institutional development, they had planned 28 and all 28 was achieved at 100%. Program 3, policy and governance, they had planned 9 and all 9 were achieved. And there was 1 indicator achieved in program 3, but not planned for the quarter. In program 4, monitoring and evaluation, they had planned 11 indicators. They achieved 10 and not achieving 1 at 91%. In total, the Office of the Premier had planned 67 indicators. They achieved 66 and not achieving 1. And there was 1 indicator in program 3 which was achieved but not planned for the quarter. And then the total achievement translates to 98% for the first quarter. Moving along to the next slide, this is the graphical illustration of what I've just spoken to, where program 1 administration achieved 100%, program 2 100% as well, and program 3 also achieved 100%, and then program 4 achieved 91%. Moving along to the next slide, it's the program performance on average for quarter 1, where the Office of the Premier is sitting at 98% achievement and not achieving 2% of their achievement. We're moving along to the next slide, which is the indicators that were not achieved for the first quarter. We only have 1 indicator in program 4, provincial monitoring and evaluation. The indicator, percentage of household profiles completed by the community development workers. For the first quarter, they planned 60%, but they only achieved 40.9%. And the reason for deviation, it is due to the change in reporting format. The migration from counting numbers of reports to quantifying the CDW works and expressing it in percentages is still new in the division. And the corrective action is that workshops are being conducted in different regions to deepen an understanding on the new reporting format, so to address the shortcomings identified. And this deviation will be further discussed by the department. Moving along to the next slide, which is slide number 8, the other indicators that were achieved but not planned for the quarter. And that 1 indicator is in program 3, policy and governance, report on implementation of the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. For the quarter, there was nothing planned, but they achieved 1, and this is due to national priorities being adhered to. Moving along to the next slide, which is the conclusion. The portfolio committee should note that in program 1 administration, they achieved 100%, and then in program 2, institutional development, they achieved 100%, and then in program 3, policy and governance, they achieved 100%. Program 4, provincial monitoring and evaluation, they achieved 91% of their planned targets and did not achieve 9% of their planned targets. And then the department achieved an average of 98% for the first quarter. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay, no, thank you very much. I'm sure Kentate Witumelo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Through you, Chair, I'll also be starting my presentation on slide number 3, which is also the compliance schedule that indicates that the department did submit the report within the proposed due dates. Moving on to slide number 4, program performance for quarter 1. Program 1, Administration, there were 6 planned targets, all 6 were achieved at 100%. Program 2, local governance, there were 17 planned targets, 15 were achieved and 2 not achieved. There were also 4 unplanned indicators that were achieved in the quarter. The achievement for Program 2 translates to 88%. And then Program 3, development and planning, there were 21 planned targets, 16 were achieved and 5 not achieved at 76%. Program 4, traditional institutional management, achieved all 4 of their planned indicators. And then lastly, Program 5, Free State House of Traditional Leaders, there were 6 planned targets, 5 were achieved and 1 not achieved at 83%. In total, there were 54 planned targets, 46 of those were achieved, and 8 of them were not achieved, with 4 other indicators being achieved at 85%. Moving on to slide number 4, which is a bar graph that illustrates the information that I've just provided in the previous slide. And then slide number 6 is a pie chart of the performance average for the quarter, which is quarter 1. The department is standing at an 89% achievement and 11% non-achievement. Moving on to slide number 7, which is the targets that are not achieved for Program 2. Number of municipalities guided to comply with the MPRA. The quarterly target there was 3, nothing was achieved. Reason for deviation is that the indicator is not achieved due to the unit being presented with personnel challenges. The correction action is that the department has scheduled the meeting for the second quarter. And then number of municipalities supported with training of ward committees. The target for quarter 1 was 15 and the output being 13. Reason for deviation is that Kopanong and Mahokare was not fully functional due to the non-payment of salaries. And then the corrective action is that both the municipalities has been rescheduled for the second quarter. And then moving to slide number 8, on Program 3, number of work opportunities reported through community work programs. The target for quarter 1 was 28,000, the output being 25,344. Reason for deviation is that the National Department of COCTA have suspended the recruitment and approval of new CPW participants due to the transitional arrangements taking place on the implementation of the program. And then the corrective action there is that the department is awaiting the finalization of the transitional arrangement from Department of COCTA on the implementation of the CWP. This also includes recruitment. And then for the following indicators, number of municipalities supported on the development of LED strategies, as well as number of municipalities supported on functional LED units, and then number of municipalities supported on the establishment of business development forums. For all 3 indicators, the target was 5 and the output was 4. And then the reason for all 3 is that the official responsible was seconded to Kopanong to act as acting director of corporate services and had to execute both functions simultaneously. So the meeting with Sitoto has been rescheduled as well to the second quarter. And then moving on to the next slide, which is slide number 10, number of municipalities supported to maintain functional disaster management centers. The target there was achieved, the output was 0. Reason for deviation is that the head of centers meeting did not take place due to the non-availability of the head of centers. The meeting also was rescheduled for the second quarter. And then lastly, with regards to the non-achievement, Program 5, number of constituencies and progress meetings held with traditional councils towards ensuring the implementation of decisions of the House of Traditional Leaders. The quarter 1 target there was 5, the output being 4. And then the reason for deviation is that Batlokaba Mogolong suspended the engagement with the House until land is provided by the provincial government. And then the corrective action is that the provincial government is to acquire land for Batlokaba Mogolong, and the time frame was not provided by the department, so they will speak on that. And then with regards to other targets that were achieved, Under Program 2, there were 4 of them, the first being development of assessment report for districts and metro municipalities. Nothing was planned, but 20 were achieved due to municipalities' requests. Number of municipalities supported to institutionalize the performance management system. 6 were achieved without any plannings, also per request. And then slide number 13, number of workshop held towards supporting municipalities on the development of their annual performance reports in terms of section 46 of the MSA. The target for quarter 1 was 0, but 4 was the output, also based on support per request by the municipality. And then the last indicator, which was achieved but not planned for the quarter, is number of workshops held towards supporting municipalities on the development of signing of employment contracts and performance arrangements of Section 57 managers. The target there was, the output rather, was 1 from a target of 0. The key observation on slide number 14 is that the department achieved an average of 89% in the first quarter of the financial year, and that there was a total of 46 indicators which were achieved, and 8 of those were not achieved. And then in conclusion, is the portfolio committee should note that for Program 1 administration, the department achieved 100% of their planned targets. And then for Program 2, they achieved 88 of their planned targets and not achieving 12. For Program 3, development and planning, they achieved 76% and did not achieve 24%. And then traditional institutional management, which is Program 4, achieved 100%. And then next slide, Program 5 achieved 83% and did not achieve 17. And then the average was at 89% and not achievement, and 11% not achievement for the first quarter. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bitumelo and the Acting TDG and Mem Musa. Honorable members, here we are. Are there any other concerns or clarity seeking questions? If there are, if not, can we then allow the department to come in? Or there are some issues? Oh, there were some clarities I needed. Thank you, Acting DDG.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On that issue that you wanted clarity on, I think it's a clumsy oversight on our side, Honorable Chair. We will remove, where it's 100%, we will remove the next sentence because, yes, it does cause confusion. I also, with your permission, Chair, would like to offer clarity on the deviation in Program 4 in OTP, even before the department comes in, because nevertheless, that is the area that I am responsible for. I heard my colleague here say the department will speak to it, and if the department is to speak to it, that has to be me that must speak to it. Even if the department will still speak to it, but I would also like to offer them the explanation. On that particular indicator, we are saying there the reporting format has changed. What we did when we were doing the new APP, in the previous APPs, we would report on this as a report on households profiled. Now we change it to percentage of households, meaning it now even shifts the focus in terms of how we not necessarily how we do the work, but with the intentions of how we do the work and eventually how we then report. So if it says report, it means there is not that much focus on the quantity of the work that is being done. But now with the percentage, there is a focus on the quantity of the work that is being done, and meaning if you speak percentage, there must be numbers behind the percentage. So the minimum of the percentage, at least for them to achieve, is 60%, and in terms of the figures or numbers, that 60% is 13,500 households that must be profiled per quarter by all the CDWs. That is now the 60%. 60% is actually coming from 22,500 in total, but at a minimum, they must do 13,500. So for this particular quarter, they managed to do only 9,209. And which is that 40%, 0.9. That is now the numbers behind that. The main reason behind them not being able to fully achieve is challenges that they are met with when they go on the ground to these particular households. Mainly, you will find that because the reputation, for a lack of a better word, that they've now, they now have in terms of, the rate of resolving their challenges. You'll find that, remember, it's not something that is now within their control, the resolving of the challenges, because their role is to profile and take note of what is the issue in each particular household, and then they forward those to the relevant departments. So the departments and municipalities, they will vary in their pace in resolving those. So some households have become despondent, and you'll find that the attitude then changes. Some would not allow them entry to their households, and therefore they would then not be able to, to do all their targets. So that is mainly the main reason behind them not being able. Also, sometimes, issues of work materials, but we are currently looking into that as a department to resolve where we have control to resolve that. So that is mainly the reason behind this particular deviation. I thought I should just take that responsibility as well and give that explanation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You see, I highlighted it. I've got so much questions to ask, and I'm happy that you clarified it, but I think maybe I thought the department will be directly, but now I remember it has always been located in your space of the department. Of the Honorable Siu and then Honorable Klute.
I thank you, DDG, and I think it is good that you are now measuring the work they do. Because if you just talk about the number of houses, I can count, I went to this house, and then, but the real work, nothing has been done. This then will then help us assess the work that is being done by the CDWs. There are those that indeed really do the work, but there are those that don't necessarily do the work, and this will then expose those that are not working. And I understand that indeed the problems that they would have taken would lead to families being despondent and all that. But sometimes it is them that are blamed, because they never go back to the family to try and say, this is what has been done, or they don't even report to the relevant departments about the problems of the people. But I just want to comment that this issue of looking at the amount of work done, it is really going to assist us to measure if they are doing their work or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Siu. Honorable Klute.
No, thank you, Chair. I don't know whether it happens with my colleagues as well, but sometimes people regard us as service delivery hotlines. So they phone you and say, listen, I've got this problem, can you please attend to it? And then we start with the process. And if I look at my success rate currently would be 1 out of 10. So I understand what the CDW's workers are going through, because now it's out of their hands, now a department needs to attend to it. But do I understand correctly then that there were households or instances where people have lost confidence in government to attend to these matters? Did I understand that correctly? Thank you.
Yeah, I think maybe honourable members will also hear it when the acting premier is here, because I don't want to use my experience. In 2011, I used to be the district coordinator of CDWs in Mufutsanya. I'm sure I'm still in the archives, unless they've thrown them away. There is a serious concern. I think Honourable Siu and Honourable has also touched based on that. But in terms of non-financial to report, I understand it. But if we have to quantify their work into the monitoring, I can tell you. But we'll have to hear on this new what do you call it? Yeah, reporting system of percentages. We'll just have to understand it. But Honourable Siu, she's spot on. These CDW, some of them, they are hired since from 2010. But they are not doing their work. In simple, you understand the and not because we are saying they are not doing their work. But I know the issue has always been they don't have tools of trade. And I don't know how many times they've been offered tools of trade. But that's where we need to play an oversight, because I can tell you there is a serious crisis there. I don't know how you are you also formalizing them, or already they have moved from the Department of the Premier to COCTA or whatever? If that is the case, I'm also going to urge from them to have that report, where that movement to them, and then what is the plan of these people. And I can tell you, I so wish, but it's unfortunate, I don't know how we will do our monitoring over them, over that, because they don't even have their offices. Those people, they are just working on the streets. There was an arrangement, they must report to speakers once some years back. You must go and report to office of the speaker. When they go to office of the speaker, they don't have a capacity to do the monitoring over them. So I don't know that arrangement, is it still like that, or this new whatever system is also to assist them, to formalize them in a proper way, because we really need to get a clarity on that matter. Otherwise, it will just be left unattended to. Others, people acting DDG, I don't want to bring politics, but we know many CDWs who became councillors, many of them. And I wonder if those people were still earning, or I don't know, because sometimes the system will pick you up that you are earning 2 salaries. But if it is not attended to from the level of resource, they will still earn salaries, you know. But that is the situation. And even currently, that is the situation. But we'll raise it formally so that we need a report on that, and also such people, because we can identify those people who were once councillors and also CDWs and what, and then who will then have to account. But I'm sure PROPEC, when we're dealing with financial reporting issues, we'll raise it at that level. But for non-financial, I think it will also be relevant for us just to hint it, so that you prepare that formal report to come before us. Okay? Are we fine? Thank you. But Siyabonga, you are attending to it, we can see. Okay. Members, can we call? Department, yeah. Yo. Semuanya kona udula ubutsu batla obe ntwe na box. Ha mme a khutli. Let's welcome the Honorable MEC, who happened to be the acting Premier. We want to also to congratulate her for that actingship. Honorable MEC, let me also take this opportunity to welcome you formally. We don't have the chairperson with us today, Honorable MEC, Honorable Datemashinin, ailing or he lost his brother yesterday, a day before yesterday, yes. So he is actually trying to figure out the arrangements. So that's the reason why he's not here with us. And I was been given that responsibility. We are having honorable members, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Bulwani, who's with us, is a member of the committee, and also being the Chair of Chairs. Then Honorable Metsiu, who also happened to be the Chair of the other committees. Is it budget and what else, Chair?
Budget and oversight.
And what?
Social cluster.
Oh, social cluster. Yeah. I happen to be the Chair also of petitions. And I'm happy that your department, Honorable MEC, Edilangadi community safety, we happened to speak about it yesterday, so at least they are here. But we will subpoena them very soon to come before the committee, because the interpretation of the Constitution, it's been used the other way around. All the portfolio committees of the Parliament are given powers by the very same Constitution. Anyone can be called before the committee to bring evidence, to bring. So I think that must be clarified to most of everyone. And Honorable Acting Premier, we are privileged because you are also here. Then we also have Honorable Ntate Klute, who is also the member of the committee. We wanted to remind Honorable MEC, your officials, especially on the matter of respecting the very same Constitution, because in most of the committees, officials tend to undermine the committees of Parliament, and not forgetting it's not about us, it's about the very same Constitution that all of us must respect. I might be young, I might have a small body, but it doesn't mean I need to be big. You know, people must be afraid of me. It's not about that. It's about respecting the rule of law, and the good part is that this department is in the heart of the Constitution. And so it's important that we must just remind ourselves that it's important we honor that, because sometimes the reports that we are getting, sometimes they don't contain the truth in them, and I'm sure if we have to go to the issue here, the last case study where one of the leaders was charged by the High Court, I think in Gauteng, in terms of perjury. We want to approach our work that way. If anybody comes before the committee and he or she does not tell the truth, it means the executive authority must begin to really look into the reports that comes before the committees. Because, but Honorable Premier, sometimes, I'm not saying your department, but we have agreed as a committee that we must remind all the departments of such, so that all of us, we do account before the committee. So you are welcome. I'm not going to be long. And we also have to apologize, Honorable Premier, Honorable MEC, that sometimes when we anticipate that we will start at 9, it doesn't happen that way. And it feels like as if we are undermining yourself and your department. If we say we'll start at 10:30, because of problems that might encounter on the same day, we'll end up calling you after an hour. So please, pardon with us. There is no way that we could say come at 1. Sometimes we can finish the first committee before 30 minutes or 1 hour, then we have a gap in between. So please pardon us. I know you came very early, before 9 o'clock, and your staff. Honorable members, I am going to give over to the Honorable MEC in this instance as Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport to give us a welcome note, not really welcome note. I've already done the welcoming. Utlarefa, opening remarks, and then we will then take it from there. You are welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Let me first pass our condolences as well to the family of Honorable Mashinini, Repeal, Modimo Avelebona. Also, let me also thank you, Chairperson, for the remarks, and I hope members, officials that are here have noted your concerns. And indeed, sometimes as political heads, we rely on administrators, and it's normal because they are dealing with administration in our department. But thanks for the advice that anything that has to be submitted before the legislature, any response actually to anyone, not only even the legislature itself, to anyone, at least let us make sure that ourselves as political heads, as executing authorities, we go through those responses and make sure that ascertain ourselves that this is the kind of response that we like communities out there to receive, including this Honorable House Chairperson. And thank you very much for the advice, and I've really taken note of that, Chair. Let me just, my opening remarks are also going to be short, as you indicated that you even started far behind time, that for Q1, the program, I was informed that the program achieved almost 100% of its planned goals. And in this quarter, the department conducted census at 110 police stations, 55 on monitoring and evaluation, and the other 55 on domestic violence act, Chairperson. And census is a national project which was conceptualized in 2017 in response to Parliament criticism on the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service for not being able to provide baseline data on the performance of the police stations throughout the country. And a decision was then taken at the national level that all provinces must, after 5 years, conduct this kind of census. This year's census is the second census of its kind. Its outcomes are meant to inform future interventions at police stations. Having completed data gathering for the 110 police stations in the first quarter, the province further conducted quality assurance on the completed tools before submitting to the national CSPS, which will be responsible for final consolidation of the very same data. Chair, we still have challenges, especially around the issue of complaints and complaints register and investigations, because the problem is that our department, for years and years, there haven't been, I think for the past 5 or more than 5 years, there hasn't been the systems like the telephone lines in our department. And indeed, I raised this matter with officials that we cannot have adverts where we got the banners everywhere we go, the pull-up banners and so on, which has numbers where we are saying to communities, if you got problems, here are numbers, knowing that those numbers are not existing, and that's where we are still lacking, but we are busy working on that. We just met is at Vodacom now, that is coming on board to assist them, because there are no landlines in the department where we're working. So if people are having complaints around issues that subs, they have to call us directly and call members of Secretariat directly, but we are addressing that. I hope by the end of September they should have been done, so hopefully we'll come back and report, because that's where the challenge is. If we indeed we are members, especially to us as executing authorities, for us to get reports, because if people will only rely on personal lines, it's a problem. If you don't want to respond to that person, nothing will happen to you. So we have to have these systems in place so that we commit officials, when they report, will be able to report to SAPS. But so far, I must indicate our relationship with SAP management really has improved a lot. We are working together, and the communication with the commissioner here and any other official, SAPS member, they know if I don't get commissioner, I just send WhatsApp to any of them, and we'll get a response. But we are really going to improve, because we felt this is poor part of communication, where we don't have lines, and then we cannot communicate with communities out there, even themselves as SAPs. And on the research, the Policy and Research Unit chairperson, I felt I must just also touch on this. Conducted a customer satisfaction survey in Hillbrook Station Prison. The unit has further embarked on a process to conceptualize the project evaluation of programs implemented by Free State SAPS and Secretariat, inclusive of joint project with JCPS partners, with regard to gender-based violence, sexual offences and femicide, as was requested by the SAPS in the province. And social crime awareness chairperson, since June, which is a youth month, fell within this quarter, the department embarked on an activity to commemorate the youth, and this was in the form of anti-gangsterism activity that was conducted at Philippolis on the 12th June 2023, where SAPS, Health and Education departments were part of the activity. Still on community outreach programs, community outreach programs were conducted in Batu Police Station on the 26th of May, Verkeerde on the 4th May, and Petersburg on the 15th June 2023. Pamphlets on domestic violence, human rights, and human trafficking were distributed. Human trafficking project was conducted at Vierfontein on the 20th of May. The purpose was to address and inform the rural communities about the effects of human trafficking. Various aspects on human trafficking were highlighted during the activity, Honorable Chairperson. And rural safety activity was conducted on the 29th of June 2023 at Hopstad. The purpose was to raise awareness about the importance of brand marking livestock. About 100 emerging subsistence farmers were in attendance. On CPF, Honorable Chairperson, in terms of the APP, 27 CPS were planned for assessment this quarter, and they were assessed accordingly. From the 27 CPFs assessment, 24 were found to be functional, while 2 were not functional. One structure was not assessed because the structure did not present any document to assess it. The interventions plan is underway to assist the 2 outstanding CPF structures. Indeed, there are challenges in CPS, Chairperson. We are addressing some of the infights that are taking place in the structures, but hopefully we are almost there to address them. And on Community Policing Forum, Honorable Chairperson, which will be my last point, the Forisberg CPF training was on the 6th June 2023. The purpose of training was to enhance the quality of information available to the police to develop a proactive and problem-solving approach to crime and violence. Training will also continue in other sectors as we move on with this program of Police Forum Training, Chairperson. Lastly, let me also appreciate that on the 18th of August, we had a very successful imbizo in Fixbeck, where we engage with communities. As we all know that those are the areas where the issue of land evasion really needs to be addressed. So we had this a successful imbizo with SAPS management from the province, and we also use that platform as an opportunity to speak to young people who would like to have an interest in SAPS, being members of SAPS. As part of our recruitment drive, there were officials who were on the help desk assisting those who have interest in joining SAPS. And there was a commitment on that day, Honorable Chairperson, which was fulfilled by our commissioner here, our Mbogoto here, where we promised that we'll do a sort of a roadshow in other areas just to encourage learners to join and assist them even in filling the forms of SAPS, because there were some allegations that they were just people are just being put aside, only those those who are affiliated or who are related to SAPS members always get jobs as SAPS, but we had this recruitment and it was successful. I think the first one was in Rosenthal, and we are moving town by town in making sure that we assist those who like to join SAPS in filling the forms. And we also raised the issue here where there was an allegation from communities that this filling of forms are done by pencils when they do their test, I don't know, assessment. They use pencils, and on the basis of that, there's a suspicion that SAPS members erase some information and their family or immediate people are the ones who are benefiting. So I said I'm going to raise this, and then we raised it with them that we are not going to allow this thing be done, pencil being used, so that when there's an allegation or there's a complaint, we'll be able to go back to those documents and say bring back. But now that it's been done with pencil, of course it will be suspicious, but they committed that it will never happen if it wasn't happening. So basically we were addressing some of the issues that were raised by communities. And thanks very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Honorable MEC, I mean, we had the longest recess ever. We have been complaining. Why did we sit such a long time? A whole month. So our minds are still stuck somewhere. So akiboni general, general onzaba mucha. She's becoming younger and younger. And I'm so my humble apology, Commissioner. But it shows that you are still looking good, and we wish you all the best. I know it's not easy to run the SAPS at that level. That was on the lighter note. Please don't record this one. No, you're also welcome, General. You are also welcome, Memoro. We preach this thing of women first, so we must embrace it at all costs and all the time. No, Siyabonga. Honorable members, let's then give over to our legal advisor to administer. HOD, Luena Oshompile Marin. To administer the affirmation, the taking of oath. Maybe we will get an indication from the MEC, or is Kaufela Batobua, or is it only, HOD Utaublela again. All right. HOD, I'm sure they will start with you. You can continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. HOD, good morning. Please stand.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. Allow me to just list quickly who's going to take oath. I'm going to start, followed by Mr. Alberto Maybeck, who's going to take us through the departmental report, supported by Ms. Van Veek, who's the Deputy Director in the Civilian Secretariat component. The Acting Chief Director is undergoing a minor operation today, and that is why he's not here. Supported by SAPS under the leadership of Lieutenant General Baile Mutswenyane. She's going to take oath, and her three Major Generals, Major General Singh, Major General Modiseng, and Major General Lissi.
Okay. So I'm just going to move like this then. All right then. Would you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I'm going to take oath.
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Masego Benedicta Shabalala.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committees the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you. Mr. Maybeck, good morning.
Good morning.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I will take an oath.
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Alberto Llewellyn Mayberg.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committees the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you. Ms. Van Beek, good morning.
Good day.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath?
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
It's Anna Carolina van Wyk.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Major, I think it's your turn. Good day, ma'am.
Good evening.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I'm going to take an oath.
Please speak into the mic.
I'm going to take an oath.
Thank you. Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Nkankwane Apathia Modisi.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. Please switch off your mic. The other, yes. Thank you. Morning. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
Affirmation?
Do you consider this affirmation binding on your conscience?
I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Tabang Solomon this year.
Do you declare what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please affirm.
I affirm.
Thank you. Morning.
Good morning, Chairperson and honorable members.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath?
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Baile Brenda Mutsunyani.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
Help me God.
Thank you. Good morning. I think another, okay, the mic is fine. Will you be taking an oath or affirmation?
I'll be taking an oath.
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Len Singh, Mangal Singh.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Chairperson, thank you.
No, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll then have to give over to HOD. We are not sure who's going to give us a presentation, but I'm just going to request Honorable Klute to raise something for sake of clarifying it. Thank you.
No, Chair, I think we've gone through the report, and it appears there are no deviations. So I would like to propose then that the department really quickly goes through this and we have more time to engage on other matters, because I mean there isn't really much gist around the first quarter. They've actually done well, so we have more time to consider other matters that's on our hearts.
Yeah. Remember, monitoring and evaluation from Office of the Premier, they've done the presentation based on what you're going to do. So we are actually in advance saying you have done well before you do the presentation yourself. But we have noted that. Thank you, Honorable Klute. Can we stick to that approach? Thank you.
Good morning, Honourable Chair and Honourable members. We are tabling then today the Q1 2023 non-financial performance report for the Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport. It's applicable to Programme 2, our Provincial Secretariat for Police Services, that is performing an oversight function on SUPs, and also on the other leg is then also responsible for awarenesses on crime prevention activities. It is indeed the case that our report is 100% achieved on all the planned targets for Q1. If I can just summarize then, under monitoring and evaluation, under the civilian side. All the targets there have been achieved, where we did then the oversight over the 55 police stations, as well as then the census that the Honourable MEC also then alluded to. But that was also then conducted, and information then obtained from the 55 police stations. And then there's also on that slide a number of customized indicators that's also achieved, that is applicable to all provinces, relating to the number of reports compiled on management of service delivery from SAPS, the IPET reports, as well as then your national monitoring tool, that is your normal oversight, where we check then the compliance of the police station. Under complaints registering investigation, we can also indicate that the complaints targets all achieved. We can also indicate that in the main, the complaints that were received during Q1 relates to poor investigation by SAPS, as well as poor communication by SAPS. That is in the main the nature of the basis of the complaints. Then under policy and research, the customer satisfaction survey, the target of 1. And I think the committee will also recall that in the previous financial year, this was an annual target where we only report annually. But from this year, we've decided to break it up. So every quarter there will be customer satisfaction surveys, and it will be done, and then also feedback will be provided to SAPS accordingly. Under safety promotion and compliance units, the number of monitoring reports on DVA, that was also done at 55 police stations, and those reports are available. And then under social crime prevention, all those targets also achieved. The number of crime prevention campaigns commemorating National Focus Days, can maybe mention that that was done on the 12th of June, and that area was Philippolis. And then the number of community outreach programs conducted, there was 3. It was respectively on the 4th of May, the 26th of May, and the 15th of May. And the areas was the Batu Police Station area, Verkeerevlei and Petrusburg. And during those, then pamphlets on domestic violence, human rights and human trafficking were distributed. And then just also to enlighten the committee on the human trafficking, the project was conducted at Vierfontein on the 20th of May, as also mentioned by the MEC. And then also rural safety, we had an engagement on the 29th of June, and about 100 emerging subsistence farmers were in attendance during that session, which was then also recorded as a successful event. And then under community police relations, I'm not going to go into depth there, but the CPFs were assessed on their functionality, as well as the executive members. And then also one CSF was also assessed, and the target for the year is 5, and I think the committee will also remember that we also currently still experiencing problems with regard to the establishment of CSFs in all the municipalities. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, honourable members. That is then the presentation from the department.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maybeck. Is there any other thing, HOD, that you would want to be said on that side? If not, honourable members, do you want to? You're fine, thank you. You covered. Yeah. Honourable members, you've got questions? Oh yes. Honourable Klute, for now, you covered. Thank you. I'm sure members or Honourable Metziu after Honourable Klute. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. Just on the presentation itself, regarding the complaints against the SAPS per year, so we know there's been one investigation report, or number of reports compiled. And there was mention about complaints from the public towards or against SAPS. I was wondering whether this department can be given the opportunity to see that report. Because it's one thing to know it's been done, but we would maybe like to know what the gist of the report is. So I think it would be on monitoring and evaluation. I think it's the first slide, actually.
Dr. Mayberg, please next time help us to number your slides as you do the presentation, just for reference. It's quite difficult sometimes to... Is it number one?
Yes, and if there's sensitivity regarding those reports, I understand, but just maybe the outcomes of mentioned reports and investigations. Chairperson, me and the MEC might differ in ideology, but I think we need to say congratulations to the MEC and to the HOD for this improvement. And many of the questions I actually have is for the other department or the other sector of the department where there's a legacy, but we're not going into that. Maybe just, and I don't want to start with a whole new debate regarding the APP, but I was wondering, going through this, if the Secretariat continues with achieving their targets, then it ought to have an impact on crime. So that's basically the value for money question. And not necessarily crime stats, because there's a theory that says when police and community safety is functional, you'll actually see crime stats going up because people are actually reporting it. So I'm not speaking about crime stats, I'm speaking about crime in general. So the question is, does the department think that the targets in the APP will effectively attend to crime to the extent that crime actually declines in the province? So will the APP and the targets achieved bring about less crime in the province? And that's the value for money question. Chairperson, then we recently had actually I think it's 3 instances where there were illegal land occupations in the province, where the occupiers actually requested the owners that they provide proof of ownership. So listen closely. The occupiers requested the landowner to provide proof of ownership. Now, I'm not sure how I should be reading the Constitution, but if I take someone's phone, I'll take your phone. Now I say to you, listen, you have to prove that it's your phone. It can't be right. And I mean, we have the rule of law, we have property acts that actually, or the principle of the right to property is enshrined in our Constitution. So how is the police handling these instances? And for those landowners, what should they be doing to mitigate these instances? Because sometimes I feel it's fueled by political statements as well, but that's another matter. And then on the issue of cable theft, I spoke to the MEC earlier quickly, and I raised a question with the Premier, but I want to ask that now. There is a multidisciplinary Eskom Energy Priority Committee that was established by the Premier, and I think SAPS, that's after the President actually announced this and requested provinces to attend to that. So without going into too much detail, can we maybe sometime get a report on what the committee has done thus far? And maybe if I should put a time frame within 7 or 14 days of this, just to see whether it's working. Is it effective? Is that committee actually bringing about change in cable theft? And then on the issue of cable theft, HOD and MEC, just 3 instances, and I want to abuse or misuse this opportunity. In Bayswater, the past week we've had 3 cable theft instances in 1 week. In Bedelia and Welkom, nearly every week there are cable theft instances and Oelendalsrus as well. And I know these are seen as part of the hotspot areas, but can we maybe just in these instances or in these towns maybe just have some more police visibility, which could bring down those cable theft problems? Thank you, Chair.
All right, I'm sure we have noted them. Honorable Matthew.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate the department in achieving their set targets. But indeed, would agree with Honorable Klute that these targets, as much as they are good here, we want it to translate into the crime going down. We want to, on things that are practical, that can be seen, but we just need to congratulate you. Maybe we are saying those that as much as we are focused on achieving the targets, it should not just be a malicious compliance. We must also look at the mandate of our department and whether indeed we are achieving what we are supposed to achieve. Do communities really feel safe? And I like this new name of community safety, whether indeed communities in our province feel safe. Thank you.
Are you fine, Honorable Chair of Chairs? Thank you. Maybe mine would be just a quick one. My concern, Honorable MEC, it's one. I'm not sure if, I think next time when you administer, our guest must also, you normally say your name and your position. So it's important so that when we relate to these discussions, we then specifically, put it and locate it too, because the delegation, they are heading different units within the department. Yeah. If you go to Kwakwa, it's unfortunate I'll have to speak of Kwakwa because that's where I come from and that's where my constituency is. Honorable MEC, HOD, and Commissioner General. If you go to Government Garage, there is a place there that Delicia. It's wearing whatever cars. The police. I don't know what do they call it, but it has been there for many years, and it is so embarrassing, MEC. I want to tell you, if you can go there and look at the cars, now. When I was provoked by the issue of value for money, when Honorable Klute was raising it, and this is part of Batupile principles, and are we really doing an oversight on Batupile principle? If we speak of value for money, are we doing it, General? Are we honestly doing it, Commissioner? I'm saying this thing because if you look at those cars, as an ordinary person passing there, for me it says, General is not taking charge of. People just go, they damage their cars. We know sometimes they roll because they are chasing criminals or whatever. But if you look at the amount of the cars there, MEC, if you look at the amount of the cars, as an ordinary person, so I'm raising this matter, and I hope a follow-up would be made. It is not only that place. I went to Vepenar when I was still the chief whip, earlier 2020 or 2019. And I went and I looked at this thing. I said, this thing is a trend, Commissioner. It looks like it's a cars, let them go to auction. Don't put them there because it brings an element which is different by community people. And I hope, I will speak to my Honorable MEC for other things, but if you look at it, it doesn't give a good picture, not at all. Now the other issue would be, what is the department or what is SAPS doing if a person has damaged the property, which is a car? I know in the olden days you used to have something, I know, but is that applicable? Because when you come to legislature, if honorable member has has damaged their car. It's an issue. It's a big thing. Now you ask yourself, why when I'm a member, but the employees of SAPS, employees, the Department of Honorable MEC, they are just damaging property. Who is taking charge? So I'm raising it based on the value for money. And I must not be interpreted in the other way around. And I can tell you, I wanted us to go and do the oversight in that area. And you can imagine if the media could come there, they will just make their own perceptions of media and so on. But I'm just saying, now that you are here, Honorable MEC and your delegation, Mayor, Commissioner General, please look into that matter. The last issue of CPFs. Some of us, we have contributed towards this establishment of CPS in another platform. And I know that we always said there must be a stipend, so to speak. I know it's not, those things are not budgeted for, but I'm quite impressed with the report. I'm 100% impressed because Commissioner, this CPFs. I was given a certificate, and I'm sure it is in the records of Putadicha when I was I still the mayor or was just, I don't remember. I used to give my car to the people who were guarding Riverside when I was still there. I know. They honored me with a certificate. Unfortunately, I was not there in that. So I'm just saying there are those kind of people who are also contributing as ordinary people towards these things. What is the SAPS doing? Are you still honoring such people? Or, so that we then counter this matter which was raised by Honorable Klute of cable theft, of what. I know it's not easy to deal with that crime. It's like Moriri fella, you cut your hair, tomorrow the hair is back. It's an unfortunate thing, but we need to proper. But I'm happy with that report and the outcome of the targets. But can we also get the report, Honorable MEC, of the CPF? I know you said number of training workshops for CPF. Can we get the report as a committee, how many CPFs and where are they located? Who is the chair of this CPS? In what? We really need that. I don't know the formulation thereof because these things are evolving, so you might be changing the approach. But I'm quite impressed. Lastly, Chair, Honorable MEC, the issue of public meetings. I think MEC raised something very important in her opening. I think it's important for us, honorable members, to evaluate the successes of these events, and it speaks to value for money. I'm raising this community participation unit, Honorable MEC, primarily because you are going to say it's successful because there were only 200 people there. For me, it's not successful. And you're saying it's a district in Bizo. I mean, with 200 people vis-a-vis, it goes to census report or statistics. 200 people are not even making, I don't know, 0 point something of the community of that district. So I'm speaking primarily to the CFOs who always don't want to give money to the executive authority because their budget is too little. We are not making impact as government. Our responsibility is to be visible. Our responsibility is to make community participation to be, because you did not touch everybody, but there must be a formula that must be used, Honorable MEC, where there is an enough budget for this kind of Facebook, sometimes other people are not privileged to data. And sometimes when the SAPS is doing whatever nice thing or stadium, it just be seen by few people because the community participation unit don't know their story. That's why the CFOs will take advantage of that. If you are a community participation unit officer, but you are bringing a report, a supply chain, which does not contain more information and what the MEC want, then therefore you will always fail. For me, it's not successful. I will base my argument along what I'm saying. So that is why I also have an interest on evaluating these events, because it talks to money. Sometimes MECs even go to business people and say, please help me there, and what government is doing. I'm just saying it's important that we practice these things together. So I think that would just be all. And congratulate SAPS once more for their sterling work. Next time, Honorable MEC, we'll want a report of this thing at the petrol. There's this thing of petrol cards, and I can tell you there's a lot of things that are happening. I can't know we meet constituencies. Yeah, I'll say it now, but I know I'm not supposed to. But you go to other garages there are people who are staying with the petrol cards, the government. Petrol attendants are using them, they swipe, they get money. It's happening, but I don't want, I'm just keeping it to get the proof of that, because if cameras are there, they must be able to. But it's not only happening in SAPS, I'm just saying the petrol cards, all over government, it's what is happening. People are making money out of them, and there's no monitoring, there's nothing. We are quiet about it, and we can see how expensive is life, HOD. I was in Spa Cooperative, I was making a joke yesterday with members. I could not even afford to buy with 200 rand. That's how expensive is life. I had 200 rand, I left my card at home. I thought I will get what I want with 200 rand, but I couldn't, because life is very expensive. So if we are allowing officials to misuse what we have, because government can also subsidize to help communities, because we are in a difficult state of life in it. So that will just be my issues. I will allow the response. If you can't respond, HOD or whoever is going to respond, we will gladly want a written reports formally, so that we just keep to the honesty and the truth of our, because Lunalabat was stats, general. You always report on stats. So we need to question these stats sometimes. That's what Honorable Fute is saying. Yeah, so thank you very much. I will allow the HOD or MEC first, or whoever to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Perhaps I've noted what Honorable Member Klute has raised. I don't know whether we have to take it as a resolution of the 14 days, because I've noted 14 days in terms of the response of the committee that was set up by the Premier. So are we agreeing that it's 14 days, it's noted? And then I think on the other issues, I'll let PC to comment, but as you respond, PC, perhaps we also need to share with honorable members the improvement in terms of what is being done in SAPS, especially around even having security now, even the age group of the recruitment itself, because now we have moved from 30 to 35, even though Honorable Chair, when we were in Fixback, some women, they were saying, no, but move to 40 years. Now we say, yo, I wonder who will climb the wall, at the age of 40 years, but those improvements, I just wanted to touch on them, because these are things that communities would like to hear, and it's very important that honorable members as well are briefed on this. So as they respond, they'll also touch on that the security personnel that is being employed within the SAPS now, not only SAPS members. I think he'll also touch on the number of security officers that have been employed. And yes, Honorable Tsiu, when you raise the issue of community safety, indeed we are concerned as a department, and even PC and Bonta knows that I'm always raising this. This week, those who follow social media would understand that we got a very serious problem at Ward 17, where the serving police station there, it's Bloomspruit. Indeed, it's a serious concern for all of us, because it's within the 20, number what this year, 25 in cases of murder. Must also check that PC, it's high, it's high, and there are serious problems. But this issue of community safety meets you. I've convened Bo Melulama, the MMC, said perhaps next week we need to meet as the PC. Also we met as management to say let's convene meetings when municipalities are also involved, because the areas where this crime is high, the planning is a problem. You go to that area. I've been to Khayelitsha. Even this week I was in Khayelitsha, where 3 people, 2 children are burned, and Datoiwani, 3 corpses there, Dichile, Lore, Mikukuichil. But when you have to reach there, people are being put there, they fight, there are no roads, the vans can't move around, the ambulance can't get to people. That area, honorable members, it's a mess. So we agreed with them that the only thing that we can do, because they are saying, the councillor, they were saying, when we do this, they are marking the shacks that are not supposed to be placed where they are with a red cross. But as they do that, they're being attacked by the very same community. I think in Mangaung, the lack of metro police is also really disadvantaging us to do the oversight on subs, honestly. Now, what we agreed was that we better bring everybody on board. The legislature itself must be on board, the subs, justice, home affairs, and Distia, because there are also taverns there, the illegal operations of shebins. So we are there. It was my second visit in that area, and I was with some subs members when we went to the house where there's a lady who was killed. Somebody just knocked and then she was shot. So the crime in that area, honorable members, is something that we cannot hide. It's very, very rife. We really need to move with speed, and we agreed, Lebo Melula Matiti, that next week we'll have to have a meeting of everybody, home affairs, in one room, so that when we go there, firstly, we are going to do this medicine. We are going to convene a meeting addressing communities, sharing this issue of community safety, to say, when we come here, because we'll ask PC maybe to reinforce, come with everyone, because we are told that people are in that area, some of them have guns and so on. But when you go and address issues, so we must prepare them psychologically that you communities are going to assist us to make sure that people who are supposed to reside in this area indeed are documented. That's why we emphasize on the issue here, home affairs, because most of the people that are residing in those areas, phase 9, phase 10, are illegal immigrants, to be honest with you, because most of these people don't have IDs. So that we got this education in their communities. Even there, when I addressed the media, I said, even the young women, we really need to educate our communities. These ones who are just getting in these marriages of convenience, they are causing this problem to us as government, because they just get married because a person wants to reside there, and then we got a crisis now. Even what happened there, when you look at those people, one young girl, 91, 6, is the 5th one, few weeks. I was there on Monday. Was it on Monday? Yes. So you can imagine, even health has to come on board, so that we also educate them. Reproduction, because honestly, you can't force anyone to prevent, but the conditions that they're bearing children in that area, really, Chairperson, we really need to work hard in those areas there. But we have agreed that we are going to do that. Municipalities also engaging them on the buildings, because the commissioner here will also raise that they raise the issue of these buildings, especially from what happened now in Marshalltown. It's a lesson of what we discussed when we had a meeting with PC, that these buildings, this number, we really need to go and address those matters. And the damaged property, yes, Chair, you are correct. It's not only on subs, and even the department, transport, there is that challenge where people don't report incident. And we are expected to report incidents. Yes, you are correct, we are addressing it, and I think HOD will also touch on that we are, because people are taking advantage that it's a government car, you can do whatever, bump it, pack it there, go and get another one. So we are also tracing that, and disciplinary measures are starting even to be implemented, especially around our government garage, because that is where these acts are also happening, Chairperson. Yes, I've noted the list. We'll ask the officials here to assist us with the list, and then we'll submit to the committee the list of CPF members, the areas, and so on. So that one is noted. We'll definitely do that, Chairperson. Indeed, Chairperson, Lena was once honored by CPF in Tweespruit as a community builder for another example like Jagersfontein. Indeed, those things need to select a community to assist. Indeed, you are correct on that one. And Chairperson, on the issue of events, this is what we are trying to do in the department. Rather than busing people to one area, it's better to take people closer to the areas, because sometimes people don't even traveling, but what's happening, how can it's an accident and so on. So we are taking events to the people. Hence, even when we do the issue taking, the handover, we do what we call road shows. So indeed, we have looked into that. Even this one of Kaelicha, you'll be invited as members of community, because there we are not even going to spend a lot of money. We are just going to get people from phase 9, phase 10. I'm from Pumulo. I went to Pumulo, that area 51. It's better to go there and engage with communities at their area, because that thing limits, it even gives them a chance to interact better with you than being in a stadium where other people leave the stadium not even having said a word, but wanted to say something. So taking this event closer to them, indeed, it's what we have started in the department. And weekly, what we have done in the department with the team is that if I don't have any program on Friday, closer here, let's go to communities and have this meeting. And we've already started with that program, Chairperson. Thank you, and then I'll ask the colleagues to add on the matters that I might left. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable MSc. HOD.
Thank you once more, Honourable Chair. I'll try not to repeat what the Honourable MEC has already responded on. Let me start on the concern that is raised by the committee on the measuring of impacts from the APP that we are presenting to the committee today, that reflects a good picture while there are no clear linkage on the service delivery impact. Picking from the national planning processes across the province, we need to acknowledge that the DPME sets the planning standards, which means everything that goes into this plan, it is what all provinces are doing. However, we agree that there are those shortcomings, and over the years, every MTSF planning, there are improvements. Having our oversight team here, we will also make sure that it's one of the recommendations that is coming direct from the legislature, that we need to improve in factoring the real measuring of impacts in the planning. For instance, we have also different other reports that are in place that measure exactly the concern that the committee is raising. The minister every quarter is releasing the crime statistics, which stipulates the 10 police stations on different crime categories. That report is there. Perhaps after that report, the province as well, the provincial commissioner develops a similar report that aligns to the indicators that the minister touches on. And I think that is the area where we are shortchanging the committee on, because that report does not necessarily find expression in our accounting. It is not here. Perhaps in future we can have a way of making sure that that report as well is captured, so that the visible impacts can be measured through that. On the damaged vehicles, especially in Kwatwa, that were seen in other areas, the MINMEC on police is already starting to discuss the disjuncture in managing the SAPS fleet. And we take note of that, though the challenges that came in the last MINMEC was the servicing of fleet across the country on SAPS. Because even when some of the services needed to be done, they have to be done outside the province. Perhaps after engaging, we will also sponsor this recommendation as we engage to also formulate a strategy on the disposal on these damaged vehicles in the interest of the Free Staters. The Commissioner will touch on the other crimes incidents that were highlighted here. We welcome the testimonial on the CPFs, and we will utilize that to encourage the teams that are on the ground to support the CPF work, to bring back those basics back to the program. We take the recommendation as well of putting in place mechanisms to evaluate the impact of the events, so that we can have that report for the department readily available. It is done, but not to the extent that the chairperson has requested. The abuse of state vehicles and petrol cards as well is one of the concerns. We are going to utilize the report that we received today to tighten our controls, because it is actually what we are doing as the department to protect the limited resources that are available to provide services to the communities. I thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah, you can come in, please. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable
I was
Chair.
actually asking about, sorry, Commissioner, because Kiana was also helping us about the matter of SAPS reporting. So there's a bill that is still hanging. I said, okay, let me not talk about it once we have dealt with it. That's why I was a little bit worried, but I'm fine now. You may continue.
Thanks, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, MEC and colleagues. We have taken note, Chairperson, of the comments and concerns from the committee, and as subs will go and implement, because even when I was still a constable, we were told that we must complain later. There's the slogan from the college. Chairperson, with crime, I want to say that with contact crime, we are still struggling. When you talk about contact crimes, we talk about rapes, murders, assault, GBH, assault common, robbery aggravated, robbery common, especially on the murders and the rapes. When one reads the summary when crime is reported, because when all these crimes are reported, a WhatsApp message will be sent to us immediately. Some of the concerns the MC spoke about, but our communities is like they are losing it. The way they are killing people is like they don't have respect for life. I'm asking you for a cigarette, you don't give me, then I just step you to death. That's what's happening. The issue of the mob justice, and I'm against mob justice because most of the time those allegations are not yet even proven. The issue here of rapes. Ladies from taverns, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, load shedding, they are being raped like nobody's business. Parents not taking responsibility, especially over their little ones. There's a case which still torturing me now because it's haunting me like nobody's business, of a girl, 3-year-old, who was raped. These young boys went to fetch wood. They heard the baby crying. When they looked inside the donga, they found that an old man of 57-year-old raping a 3-year-old. Then the question is that where is the mother? That's what is happening in our communities. Little ones, they are on the streets from the morning. The parent will only see that child at night and doesn't even worry where was the child the whole time. Those are the challenges we are having. And I even said during the Provincial that all the departments must come together. I know our MEC is addressing it, but other departments, they are not coming on board. The Provincial meeting, they are not attending. The MEC now spoke about Department of Health being there, social development and others. Where are they? We are bothered now with the issue of drugs in our province. Even the small, deep rural stations, they are having issues of drugs. But what I'm saying is that who is the lead department in terms of drug master plan? It's not the SAPS, it's social development. Where is social development when we talk about the issue of drugs? Little ones, they are being exposed to drugs at a very young age, even at the primaries. Last time we had operation here in Park Road, where they said that that house was selling drugs. And school girls and boys, they were there visiting the area. The police went there, they searched, they found drugs. The owner and whoever, they were arrested. But these little ones, when they were searched, they were not drugs. But for me, I would say that if those kids could have been taken for drug test, urine test, to check whether are they using drugs, so that at an early stage it can be detected and attention can be given to. But now it's police who are on our own. Must now the police now take those kids for urine test? Tomorrow now the parents will be on our case to say that why did you drag my kid through that process? It's where we need education, it's where we need social development. But sometimes we are overwhelmed, you don't have time now to start running around. We just deal with our part, we arrest, we detain, we prepare the docket for court. Those are the challenges we are having. But it's my humble plea to say that if other departments, they can come on board, then we are going to fight this monster, which is crime, which is facing us as the province. What I can say, Chairperson, we know, I said last time that
In my 33-year career as a police official, it has never happened before that a province can be given such a huge number of police recruits. The President, the Honorable President did make an announcement during the State of the Nation address that 10,000 police are going to be recruited. Out of that 10,000 from the financial year of 2022-2023, Free State, we were fortunate to get 978 as the province. For this current financial year, we are having 824 who are now at college. We did go through the recruitment drive again. The closing date was on the 31st of August. As the province, we received close to 70,000 applications. That shows you how deep is the problem of unemployment in our country. 70,000. But I said to General Singh, who's the Deputy Support Services, everybody who qualifies, let's take them through the process of assessment. We must give them that opportunity. That's how we are going to approach the whole thing. And from the 1st of September, we have started with the employment of 57 security guards, of which most of them are women. I know I was having some challenges with my team because fortunately, Chairperson, Honorable Chair is coming from Thabo Mfutsanyane, Fixback. Our problem there mostly is from Lesotho. You are having 10 posts, we employ 10 women to be guarding those vehicles at night. We're going to sit with the problem of absenteeism because if me and General Modise and the Honorable MEC is supposed to guard only the 3 of us at night, it's also a challenge. For we must try to address equity, but sometimes we need to look at the challenges that at least men are also there to support. The other challenge you are having, but MEC will be going to Rustenburg next week with on the MINMEC. Free State, financial year 2022, we ordered 155 vehicles from the budget we got. And out of 155 vehicles we ordered, 155 vehicles were delivered. But the problem is they were delivered on the eve, as we were nearing the end of the financial year. During March 2023, those vehicles, 2023, they were delivered. And I even said to the MEC that, and the problem will say that, these other vehicles, they are not compatible to the types of terrain we are faced with as Free State. But what was happening, I was just now receiving what was available. Remember, if I don't get those vehicles before closing of the financial year, I forfeited the money. Because then what's going to happen is going to be roll over. Now I was taking what was there. We are having 10 Mahindras give. You are having 10 Isuzus give. It's not the original order we put as the Free State. But now what happened? I even sent my team to Durban, because mostly we're coming from Durban, to go and capture before the end of the financial year. But the payment was not done before the closing of the financial year. 36 million gone. So our budget for this year is already cut with 36 million in terms of ordering of vehicles, which we estimated around 50 vehicles as the province. And then coming to the concerns of the Honorable Klute on the one of land invasion. When there is land invasion, the police will open a case of trespass, but we cannot do the eviction and whatever. The owner must approach the court for the court order. And that's what I also raised during the Prof. Joint's meeting, that we are now nearing the elections. This problem is going to be massive. Let's go around and even workshop the municipalities so that they can know what they are supposed to do. Because the problem is, once the structure is erected, we cannot just remove. But if people were starting to erect the structure, is where now there can be action. But now they wait until the structure is erected. Now the process is becoming so long. People must take responsibility of their environments, and when they're supposed to open cases, they must come forth and open cases, but they don't want to open cases. That's where the problem is. Now they want the police to act. We cannot act outside the law because we are going to be charged and litigation will come in. That's where the problem is, but we are encouraging municipalities that call us, will do training to say that if there is land invasion, what are your responsibilities and where you start, so that we can take it from there. The second one on cable theft. Cable theft is a serious problem for us, it's a concern. But as you are seeing me wearing the overall, we launched Operation Chanel, the Premier was there, the MEC was there, to say more boots on the ground. We need to be more visible. Especially with this 967 recruits I was talking about, that more visibility will assist us. And I want to say that even this week, there was arrest made for copper cable worth almost 500,000 because we are working on that. And at least for now, as the police, when we open cases, it's no longer normal theft. It's damage to essential infrastructure. And that one is also assisting us to make sure that whoever is being arrested, there's going to be conviction and not just a suspended sentence, but the person will remain where he's supposed to be. Honorable Chairperson spoke about the vehicle at the safeguarding unit. Chairperson, because besides what the committee is saying, we don't even have enough storage for all those vehicles. Yesterday we had a meeting, the Provincial Management Forum, and the presentation was showing that we are having 1,064 vehicles to be boarded as the province. There were some other challenges in terms of the original documents and whatever, but we dealt with district commissioners, all of them, they attended, and we gave them the numbers. We said that at your district, how many vehicles, and they must come up with a plan. How are we going to finalize this? But they are only given until Friday to come with a solution so that those vehicles can be boarded. On the 19th of September, we are going to have the auction so that what's supposed to be auctioned can be auctioned, as well as we'll be coming up also with the compacting of those vehicles because they can't be there. There was compacting done now recently, I think a month or two ago, then there's going to be another compacting so that those vehicles, they can be removed from all those camps.
I'm sorry to interject, Provincial Commissioner. What is compacting? And then what happens after that?
It's been sold for scrap. Okay. Then it goes to the revenue, that route. Yes, Chairperson. Honorable Chair spoke to the issue around vehicles involved in accidents. Tuesday night, I never slept. If I slept, maybe I only slept for an hour. Because when I was about to go to sleep, I got a message to say that Brantford, in a week, they have written off 2 vehicles. One for the community service center and one for the station commander. And Brantford is also a station who doesn't even have vehicles. With those 2 vehicles gone, I must now start looking around to check where am I going to get a vehicle now. Not vehicles, a vehicle for Brantford. There's the challenge, but I even put it to the management so that loss management must come in. They must be investigated. And I instructed our supply chain province that the district, they are not going to investigate. Province is going to investigate because we don't want cover-ups. Whether members were in their policing precinct, where they were supposed to be, whether they were doing official duties or whatever, so that we can take from there. Because previously there were money recovered from the members. But what I'm saying, and they also agree that it can still be improved so that we recover. I was even saying to the management that they must go to the government garage. Brand new vehicles. Some of them, they are already there waiting to be compacted because now they are written off. That's the problem we are having. On the issue of the CPF, we are having, around November, December, we'll be having Excellence Award. We are even having a category to say that let's also award CPFs who have excelled in whatever they are doing, where they are placed. And there was also 4 million beside our budget, annual budget. Earmarked funding worth 4 million, which was given to the CPF. It never happened before, but it happened now. And CPFs were given tasks to say, as management, we don't want to dictate to you what you want to do with the 4 million. Submit your needs. They did submit their needs. They were talking about vehicles, telephones, reflector jackets, and we'll see with the 4 million, what are we going to buy, and then we start to prioritize the CPFs, because 4 million can't do whatever the list is all about.
So sorry for interjection. Afterwards. Oh, okay. You may continue, Provincial Commissioner.
Okay. The chairperson also spoke about the issue of the imbizos, and the MC spoke about that also. On our side as police, we have also, with a soft approach, even myself, I believe in street imbizos. Street imbizos because I feel that I'm getting closer to the people who really need the message, and even for them to come forth. And last month, myself personally, I was in Botlokong and Bethlehem, where I was doing food patrol with the band Project Harmony. The band was there. We were walking the street of Botlokong, playing music, communities coming out, talking to them, and we passed. And that approach is quicker and less expensive. And we are reaching the right people. Because that woman who's being abused, if she can go to the stadium, the husband's gonna hear that the woman was at the stadium. But with the street in Bizo, our women, they just pass, I could not chase them away. That's how he's helping us, chairperson, on that one. The petrol cards, as the police monthly, those the receipts, they are being submitted, where the person responsible for fleet will also look at the consumption and the kilometers on vehicles traveled. But I know sometimes our members are naughty. When we pick it up, members are charged, and I know that they are the ones we already dismissed on the abuse of petrol cards. We are even so strict to say that this thing of the filling station, saying that if you pour fuel and you get drink and whatever, our members are not supposed to be engaging on that one. And once we hear about it, we investigate. Even this thing, Yadi points to say that, no, give your clicks card, then they are not supposed to do it at all. That's how strict we are based on this one, because it also opens them to be corrupted. We also spoke about the issue of the Imbizo and the recruitment, but just to give the figures to say, after the Imbizo, we are having the Imbizo, there's going to be follow-up Imbizo also at Fixback, where the MEC will also be in attendance, but we made a commitment that we'll come and recruit from that community. We went at Fixback, 65 were in attendance, 161, they were in attendance. 82 from Lady Brandt, 65 from Rosendal. Because what I'm also saying is that we also need to recruit from the rural stations so that their communities, they can also form part of the police service, who understand also the dynamics of those areas where we are having serious problems. That's my submission, Chairperson.
Sorry, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you. Should I allow MEC? Let me allow you first. MEC, you will come in. Sorry about that.
70,000 people, 70,000 that was received as recruitments, eh? 70,000. Now, can you imagine if we had half of, no, let's say we had a quarter of that, that's 10,000, no, less. It's half, 35,000, which could have been used in the Free State. Well, not all of them would have necessary, but can you imagine if we had the cut of what we're supposed to have of that 70,000 in the province? So somewhere's wrong in the process. Something's not right. Anyway, it can't be right that there's a delay for vehicles to be dropped off or given to the province at the end of a financial year. And I'm getting the impression that this could be at a national
governmental issue. Now, Chairperson, in my mind, this is where we need to have a discussion with our NCOP member, because we do have a delegate on that committee. And our NCOP members should start fighting for the province in that regard as well. We can fight here, but even our MPs, but especially our NCOP member can go sit with the department and say, why did the Free State wait until the end of the financial year? Why was it not delivered to us? And we should have a discussion with our NCOP member on that select committee. And then lastly, I just want to make sure, did I understand the Commissioner correctly? So if you are aware of occupants in the process of erecting, someone can go and go lay charges and the police can then react. Did I understand that correctly? Don't wait till after it's been erected. If it's in the process, can the police then, once it's been reported, remove that, or do you still have to go to the courts for interdict? I'm speaking about that 4 or 5 hours while it's being erected. What can the police do then? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thanks, Honorable Kluti, because some of the things that I wanted to raise, I was going to say, we are not just responding here, but responsibility, the support from the legislature through NCOP. Because really, when you look at what PC has raised, there are a lot of challenges around issues of procurement, especially in subs. It's a very, very difficult issue. And when I joined the first MINMEC, I was just like surprised that people were still complaining that for you to fit a tire, you have to go to Pretoria. So there were so many issues that really we could not understand. And I was even saying to them, but this is unfair in that MINMEC, that you are traveling on our roads here, but when you have to fit tires, you go and pay somebody outside this province. Is it fair? How are we going to assist the province? Because honestly, the procurement in this and we know the powers that we have, Chairperson, that we are not but national, it's actually running this. Just want to share this as well. The second one was when I visited Bensfley police station. There were lots and lots of cars there, but these were not the cars that they were in need for subs. They were just cars that can be used by investigators, but in terms of really combating crime, there were a lot of Toyotas, VWs, and I went to them and said, but why are we having such, and they were brand new. It's like they come and dump for the sake of reporting their expenditure. And what was worse about my visit there was that even in terms of the branding of those cars, they had to go, they were waiting for a truck will come from East London. Is it East London or PE? They must be branded somewhere in East London. Come after a month, they take another 8 cars. And I said, but what kind of process is that? That's why really we'll never ever reach communities and really deliver and combat crime. These are the issues that hopefully you are noting them, Chairperson. And what you are saying, Honorable Claude, I was going to raise that through our NCOP. We really need to address it. Indeed, in that meeting, we asked the minister to change, even though he was harsh on commissioner, but other things need a legislation for them to be changed. For instance, I raised with them, I called them to my office and raised the issue of street kids here who were showing me areas where you can buy, drugs. And from the west side, Wabanamo ANC is, that short street is a hub. And one police officer in Park Road, Tate knows. Those kids were able to show me, that hole you can put in the money and the But what the police were saying to me, for us to just go into that, we must still go and apply and have an address of the house that we want to search. Because we cannot just go randomly and take everybody from, let's say, the Brandweg flats according there. We must be able to say we are going to search flat number 1, 2, 3. So somewhere at the legislation really is tightening this and that we would like to do that. As much as I was saying to them, now when we do this, you leak information that will be coming and do this. But in areas like Kailicha, where I'm told there are a lot of guns and so on, it's better because we don't have numbers. People have just put themselves there. So anytime when we want to do the operation, we will be able to, we don't even know the areas. We don't have to specify each and every house that we want to search that. So those are the challenges. My last one, Chairperson, no, the second one, it's on the, I mean the procurement, it's a problem for subs really to procure on time. And so that process, I don't know whether now Basbai address it's a PC, because that means make resolved that this matter must be resolved. People are coming from Pumalanga to go to Pretoria to fit a tire and so on, that even here in the Free State. That's why some of those cars, Kishwa Abadi Sheba, but Laura must take you to Pretoria. Just said it's better to leave it there and then erase than taking it to Pretoria. On the drugs abuse, Chairperson, Kylie Chamoritswante, that house, Mobanaba Chile, the mother, the surviving mother, and the surviving mother, who's the sister to the brother, confessed to us that, no, Tina, we're using Mendrex. I said, but how do you afford Mendrex in this area? Say, no, Rekisa the scrap metals, and then after selling those, we can buy. The only challenge that we had at PC was that she was still mourning, she was still crying, but I said to her, we'll have to take you, when I spoke to the social worker, they must also show these houses where they're selling this, because she said it's the husband is late. I said, have you never accompanied your husband? He said, no, I did, I know the area. But it was going to be inhuman when this person is still crying to take her to the area and then show us this person who's selling drugs. But I think the social workers, we agree that after this we still have to go there because there are no addresses. She can't even give us a house number so that we can go there and do what is needed to. On land evasion, Chairperson, my emphasis also is on the municipalities. Like PC Acho, the Maspala Dibulidi case, they expect Maponisa to go and forcefully remove people without laying charges bona at the police station. That's where the challenge is. But the main challenge as well is us wanting to react. I met the municipality in Setsotho, and Dikabe, to say, assist us, because they were complaining about the police. And then I took Ntatetso, the district commissioner there. We went there, we sat down with them on our chambers, and I said to them, don't you have a land? Yes, we do. Why don't you place people in advance and wait for other people to take advantage of the situation, especially on what the PC has just raised, where political and that people, like in Fitzburg, where they've placed people, one political party, and they don't even want the police to enter into that space, but here the matter is still in court. But hurry check in space, let people be allocated. And that's how we resolve the issue of Clocoland, Honorable Chairperson. Where I said, don't you have a land? They said, yes, we have a land. I said, then let's go and Loudale in the very same area where people are just being put. Let's go and say, tomorrow, come to the town hall, let's register you and allocate people's sites. And it worked in Clocoland. So if municipalities can also assist, if the space, let's just be proactive and place people so that these people have advantage. Place people where you are going to give them services. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable MSc. Quite good to hear the Provincial Commissioner responding to questions. What excites me is that it shows Orikimoto hands-on. And I think that is what we want. But I'm just worried how is your wellness program? That's why you see police officers, when they've got problems in their home, they shoot, they kill themselves. Isn't it because of this too much work that they have, like you are saying? You end up dealing with things that reside to the Department of Social Development. And we are expecting SAPS to respond to such things. I think MEC, now that you are also acting as the Premier, I will address you as acting premier in the next interaction. But I think this matter of IGR, you know, I've preached this thing when I was still given a responsibility as a mayor on how the IGR is being implemented. It's a shame in the true sense. Our problem is that all these frameworks are done by our own technocrats, and then yet you are fella for the sake of you know, I'm just waiting for my salary. My kids must go to school. We just go there, we listen to each other, and then we go home. But if you can look at how this IGR has been implemented, it's a shame for this province. And I think we must say it as this committee of portfolio, which is very central. And because the issue of land evasion, I think we must give instruction, Chair of Chairs, to COCTA specifically. Because COCTA, it gives support to municipalities. I think we'll talk to that, where we have to say consequence management. If you are a director responsible for SPLUMA or for the Department of Special Planning, and why did you not act to an extent? Because that is value for money. And I can tell you, Honorable MEC and Provincial Commissioner, I still want to challenge. It's just that I'm still waiting for this bill. I still want to challenge SAPS on the cases. Certain cases have just been thrown out of the window. And let me tell you, if you open a case, I'm sure PC will tell you, it's cost. The investigation there of MEC, people, petroleum, what's investigate, it's value for money. You hear me, honorable members. So I'm just saying these things, all of them, we, as the portfolio committees of Provincial, we need to look at them, to look at this wellness program in all various departments. I know I've been talking about it in the previous interaction yesterday. So the issue of the land invasion is very serious. MEC is citing a very serious, crucial point. We are taking advantage as political parties. You put 1,000 people there, and you know they won't get out. Now, a particular person must, because it's going to cost too much money, litigations, and if we are silent about it, it means we don't care about the payers or the taxpayers' money. So I just wanted to cite those things and say thank you very much. We will challenge this thing, PC, the 155 cars delivered, and because you had to push for time, otherwise if that time comes, you don't submit, therefore they take them to another province. But I can tell you, there are a lot of issues surrounding the supply chain, and we'll have to question that through the joint committees, and that's why now I've always loved select committees, Chair of Chairs, as a pro-PEC. I've always attended them, and they will tell you in Parliament, hey, that young boy is irritating in there. Yeah, I know I used to fight, I can tell you. And they used to call me names, or hey, because that's the space, and if we don't use that platform, the province is going to suffer forever. But we'll make sure at our own space, Honorable MEC, we help you. That thing, I know that there was supposed to be a bill, there is a bill that was submitted by Dr. Jackelson through this process, because later on we want to take the same approach as what Cape Town is happening, which is Western Cape Province, where the SAP. And I was heading that, but I don't know. Mayor Coney, let's recognize you, sir, the legal advisor. Thank you. I did not see you, Mewak. Okay. No, we are fine. Are we fine? Yeah, we will summarize in the committee what you. Thank you very much. Other things we'll put them for another meeting, but it is good to interact at this level, but our interaction must bear fruits. Otherwise, it doesn't help for us to play an oversight whilst things are still remaining, because I wanted to say to PEC, hey, why do you wait for Minimec? Was it HOD? It was HOD, sorry. Why do you have to wait for Minimec for certain things to be implemented in the province? So we'll come to that space, we'll engage around those things at the level of the select committees, level of NCOP. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you very much, everyone. We hope to see you next time. God must protect you in your various work. It's not easy, especially into the drugs. It's not easy. I know Riverside, it's a mess. But we'll interact with the MEC at another level. But thank you very much. God bless you all. You may be released. Yeah, Honorable Acting Premier will have to remain. We're not going to take long. But congratulations, the department is doing very well in community safety in terms of the report. Your targets, stick to your targets, you achieved. Thank you.
Chairperson, in the next session, ke tlo kopa ho bula ke ba se because re bitsitse the farmers wa ke re wa tseba ba lwantsha di member tsa, so I'll have to go and address them. There's this issue. Ya re gravelly in 11:30, but HOD utlaya in the meantime, and then ke khona ho bula ena fela and then be ke tsama. Yes.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Acting Premier. Mema Queen Joyce, Letsoha Matai. Some of us, we have entered a stage of aging. You know, when you are 45 plus, you begin to feel these things. So, hey, I'm getting cold nowadays because of aging. Eh? You know, my father used to say, when I'm sitting with the heat in front of me, my shoulders here, it's like somebody's blowing wind here. I mean, air here. And I said, yo, now I feel it now. Eh? Okay, that was on the lighter note. Honorable Acting Premier, we happened to have you before this meeting in the department, and we are happy that we were being informed that you are responsible for the province in the absence of the Premier. For this actingship, it's not an easy one, I know, but let's also welcome the DG, and everybody outside Mayan Lane. We are not going to be long. We are going to humbly request the Honorable Acting Premier to give us an opening remark, and then after that we will release her to another commitment. When you speak of constituency, then you speak to me, because those people, we are here because of them. So if we don't attend such gatherings, it's going to be problems. So we'll be left with the DG to take us through the process. But fortunately, the monitoring and evaluation was able to give us a presentation, and we are quite happy with the progress of the department or the office of the Premier. You will then administer after the Premier has done the opening remark. You are all welcomed, and thank you once more. Honorable Acting Premier.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable members present, and officials from the Office of the Premier, DG, led by DG. Honorable Chair, I wish to thank you, thank the committee for the opportunity for us to present on the progress of the Office of the Premier for the first quarter of 2023. I will provide an overview, and the DG obviously will present the details as you indicated earlier in your opening remarks, Honorable Chairperson. During this quarter, the information that I got was that the OTP was very instrumental in the following areas: providing oversight on the implementation of the DDM model, the district development model, ensuring coordinated and coherent implementation of key political projects through decision-making structures such as FOHOT, clusters, and EXCO. The clusters in particular are beginning to play a much more important role in this office. The OTP also managed to improve on its audit outcomes compared to the previous financial year. The senior management is committed to make sure that the next audit is substantially better. The department also managed to improve on the payment of suppliers within the 30 days. And I hope I'm not going to mislead this committee, DG, on that. Very careful of mentioning that 30 days. The OTP is doing fairly well to recruitment and meeting targets of women in SMS, persons living with disabilities, and young people. I hope I'm not going to be disappointed on that one as well. The Free State Training Institute is performing a critical function of capacitating officials of the Free State Provincial Government. Today, as we speak, Chairperson, the Free State FSTDI is hosting a graduation ceremony at Philip Sanders, the ceremony to laud out the achievement of officials there for obtaining prior learning, diplomas. It's an event that we're supposed to be attending now with DG, but because of the meeting here, we'll join them later. That's part of what we need to be proud of as the office, honestly. The organizational structuring of the FSPJ, Free State Provincial Government, is also nearing finalization. The department hosted a successful communication in Daba, during which the modalities strengthening this function in the provincial government were shaped, including the review of the provincial government corporate communication strategy. A very successful provincial social compact session was held, and I know it was all over the media because it was live on radio, was held during which key successes of the Free State Provincial Government was conveyed to stakeholders and the media, even the public and the community of the Free State at large. Through the coordination of the OTP, the Free State Provincial Government hosted a successful Youth Month activities with emphasis of providing support to enter the job market. The OTP engaged with key national and provincial stakeholders in respect of catalytic projects such as Val River City Region Development, where there was an engagement, of course, between the Free State and the Gauteng province. Provincial energy security, where there was engagement with Central Energy Fund, ESCOM, Centlec, Petroleum, South Africa, DBSA, etc. Renewable energy, where there was engagement with various stakeholders as well. Provincial infrastructure coordination, where there was an engagement with key stakeholders such as Infrastructure South Africa, National Treasury, and so on. Review of the Free State Growth and Development Strategy, where there was engagement with provincial and local governments, private sector and civil society organizations to formulate the Free State Province long-term strategy. The performance monitoring and evaluation component has been very instrumental in providing monitoring oversight of key policy pronouncements as well as on the implementation of our MTSF. I trust that this overview, Chairperson, will provide the necessary context to the performance of the OTP. I rely on the administrators to do that. And thank you very much, Honourable Member, and thanks for releasing me after this so that I can attend to a meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Honorable members, may we then release the Honorable Acting Premier. I'm sure Ntatera Gonzane, I know is going to be very quick on the presentation. You may be released. Thank you. We are dealing with the consideration of the first quarter. Let me allow Mayor to rush over the process of administering the oath. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. DG, good morning. I think it's still morning.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, Madam.
Please stand.
Thank you.
Please stand. Thank you. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath?
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Kopun Radikonzane.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committees the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. DG, will you be assisted by?
Yes, Mr. Fender.
Good morning, Mr. Fender. Good
morning.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I'll take the oath.
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names and position for the record.
I am Albertus Johannes Venter, and my position in the Office of the Premier is that of Deputy Director General for Corporate Administration and Coordination.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committees the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Mr. Ulofse.
Good morning, Mr. Ulofse.
Good morning.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath?
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please state your full names and position for the record.
Christian Hendrik Ulofse, Acting Chief Director, Policy and Planning.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committees the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
CFO.
Good morning, Mr. Martins.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Chairperson.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath, please.
Do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please state your full names and position for the record.
My full name is Lobetu Martins.
And your position?
My position is Chief Financial Officer of the Premier.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are okay, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, you may continue, DG. I'm not sure who's going to do the presentation, but it's your... Can we... I think we made justice when we got the report in the morning, so maybe we'll have a summary version of the entire presentation. DG, thank you.
No, Chair, thank you very much. As you have had the Acting Premier presenting an overall summary of the work that we have done during the course of the first quarter, and that we continue to accelerate in the second quarter. All of our programs were able to achieve sufficiently their own areas and targets for the month, for the first quarter. So I would want Chris just to talk to the fourth quarter if you want, if you allow, Chairperson. And then we are ready to take any questions from you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, DG. May continue.
Thanks, Honourable Chair. Yes, just to indicate in terms of slide number 2, Department planned 67 program performance indicators, of which 67 were fully achieved. That is translating then to a 99% achievement for the department. And then we've broken it down in terms of the various programs. So there's one deviation in program 4, and that is the explanation is in terms, it's on slide 24 and 25. So this indicator is reading like percentage of household profiles completed by the community development workers. So the task at hand in terms of this indicator, just in terms of a bit of context, it's they are profiling on a continuous basis in terms of the needs and so on in communities. So the target being set is about 60%. They have achieved 40.9%. It sounds maybe quite a big deviation, but we've been informed by the relevant program and the component that's actually responsible for this that they will actually catch up in terms of the second quarter, in terms of that deviation. So there are a number of challenges in terms of doing this work. Some of them would be maybe tools of trade and so on. But yes, we've been assured that there will be catch-up on that. So I think there's also continuous effort from the feedback that we also get from the AGN when they do the audits. So yes, we want to quantify more in terms of the work that we are performing. So yes, it is, the component needs to keep a proper record of all engagements that they had with community members and so on. So it's I think they're also a bit adjusting to that new way of working, but we are assured that they will indeed catch up on it on the second quarter. So that is in terms of the one deviation. So for the rest of the indicators, they were achieved as planned. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, I know that Ntate is dealing with policy and planning. I did not catch the name, but is there any other matter that honourable members will want to say? Honourable Matthew.
Because we got the report from the monitoring and evaluation, we just then can say we congratulate the Office of the Premier for the achievement of the set targets. And we appreciate the fact that you have changed, the reporting format has been changed, which will then improve the quality of the reports, because then we would know exactly the quality of the work that has been done, in fact, service delivery to the people that the community development workers would have done to the communities. This new reporting format is going to assist the legislature to understand what are these people doing, because majority of them may find that they are not really doing their job. They would then just count that I visited so many houses, but what is it that has been done in those houses? It would not reflect anywhere. There won't be any other report. But this new report that measures the percentage of the work done is going to assist to measure their work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe, DG, I'm worried, I don't know, between yourselves and the acting DDG from monitoring and evaluation, who is telling the truth? Because if you look at the report we got this morning on under slide number 1, DDG, I think page slide 4, maybe when they might not have that. I don't know if they have it. I'm just worried about the numbering thereof, but please make me to understand, because if you look at the summary of progress on the slide 2, if you look at what you said this morning, honorable members, if you can check that report, just slide, it said that totally it's 67, achieved indicators it's 66, but indicators not achieved is 1, others is 1. But if you look at the report of the summary progress of what was presented before us, it talks about 99%. You are speaking of 98%. And you say in the notes there, acting DDG, the Office of the Premier had a total of 67 indicators for the first quarter of the 23-24 financial year, and then total of 66 indicators have been achieved. 1 indicator has not been achieved. Achievement translates to 98 of the first quarter. And now they are saying to us, the department planned 67 performance measures indicators. Of the performance measures indicators, 66 were fully achieved. This achievement constitutes 99%. I'm not sure, maybe I might not could be with numbers. Maybe if we can just get a clarity on that, so that, remember we said any document that comes before us and the presentation made by MECs, no HODs or DGs, must be the true reflection of what is happening. So Nekerefela, let's get the correction on thereof. It's not a big deal. I just wanted the correction thereof. Maybe I'm not clear of something. Then secondly, I'm sure we would have loved acting Premier to be here, DG. Our concern as a committee is one. The issue here, the CDW. One, we have too many, let me not say too many. We had an indication that there are some CDWs who were once councillors. We actually wanted that report to say how many CDWs we have. Those who were councillors, were they still earning this on the other side, and they were still earning on the other side? What was the process thereof? Were the people being taken out of the CDW system? Because we just got an indication. So before we could conclude, we need to get the report from the Department of Premier on that matter, the CDWs, together with their work thereof, which the committee said it's still in question. But we were happy with what we saw, that you are introducing a new system of reporting. So I just thought I must say it before. But otherwise, those were just 2 issues. In fact, 1 issue fell out of clarity. This other one, we just need a report thereof. Maybe if I can get a clarity from the side of the acting DDG before, because Agere, you made that indication in the morning. So just to clarify, Skampa Bankabu acting DDG wa how because DG Skampa mo Muchela acting, maybe it's just a mistake. So can we get an indication on that? Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Indeed, it is a mistake. I think, as you can see, the figures actually do tally. We speak to 67 as a total and 66 as an output. I think the difference there is in how we did our percentage. We did not round it off to the 99% that the department is actually speaking to. So it is an oversight on our side, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
And also your percentage talks of 2.
Yes, if it's 98, on the other side it will be 2. So if you round it off, it will be 99, then it will be 1 on the other side. Thank you.
It's very important. I don't want to be cited tomorrow and say, Chair, you didn't see that. So it's important that our report speaks to each other. DG, I don't know if DG would want to say any other thing. I think it was more of a comment on the issue of Honorable Metsi, but if DG feels strongly that he would also want to say something, he will also give us a closing remark, so that we say thank you very much to yourselves. Did you?
No, Chair, we always enjoy not to stay longer in here. So I think there might have been an indication that we have got 262 CDWs, 262. That means that we have about, because some bigger wards have got 2 CDWs, so but the vacancies of CDWs that we have is 65. So during elections, some of the CDWs do contest elections and become ward council. So the ward will be vacant, and we will, at an appropriate time, fill that vacancy. But what is more is always we're also facing normal attrition, either through resignation or death. So that's basically where we are. So we intend also to deal with those vacancies as soon as possible. That's what I wanted just to clarify. Thank you very much.
Maybe assist us, DG, through that, you normally say a state a lawyer. Remember, there was a code of what? Was it a code of something where CDWs were not supposed to be part of contesting political whatever. There was such. If you still have it, the committee will want that. If it is no more there, because remember, they were prohibited through a framework. I'm not sure what was the framework. So it was just a concern that we just want to clear off from our side as a committee. Or if they had this code of conduct and they were given an opportunity to participate thereof, then what happens? I'm just saying, as part of the report that we need, if there is such a thing, can you please package it together to explain that one for us? Thank you.
No, Chair, we will do so. The framework restricts them from taking sides. They must be independent as they serve communities. And they must be able to engage policy framework for CDWs. They should be able to engage each and every person. They shouldn't be partisan as they do their work. But like any other person, they can stand for political office. Thank you.
We will highlight it for us in that. Thank you, but Siyabonga, DG. Thank you very much.
We were
delegation.
Invited here on 2 presentations. So our next presentation is...
Oh, sorry, the bill.
On the bill.
Sorry, lawyer. Sorry. In fact, we were waiting for it this morning. I thought we are done. Okay. Yeah, the memorandum. Did you receive? Yeah. I'm not sure who's going to do that. Did you? Who will take us through?
Mr. Fender, Honorable Chair,
the Defender, yeah.
will deal with that.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure you are going to be very summarizing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. Very briefly, as with any other bill that is tabled in the legislature, this bill was accompanied by a memorandum, and this memorandum, with all due respect, makes it clear which pieces of legislation are going to be withdrawn and repealed, the reason for the repeal and to which department it relates. The committee will note that this pieces of legislation ranges from as early as 1959 up to 1990, and it deals with redundant pieces of legislation which have been overcome by new laws but were still unfortunately on the law books. It also deals with old Botswana as well as Kwakwa legislation, which has really become redundant. There was a consultation process with all heads of department, and there were concurrence that these pieces of legislation are indeed redundant and can be repealed. There's just one piece of legislation that will be amended technically, and that is the Commission's ordinance. In the province we have an ordinance empowering the Premier to appoint a Commission of Inquiry, and just for the sake of clarity, the definition of Premier was included in this ordinance as an amendment, and also in terms of the Treasury regulations, the means and the process of remuneration of commissioners of a Commission of Inquiry. And that is what this entire bill is all about. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think what we need from your side, the DG, I think we, and this is what honorable members were saying, as we deal with these bills, I'm not sure whether what we call that meeting where they come and do a presentation for us, you know, as
This one is, this should be it, like the briefing.
yeah. No, Maggie and legal, but I was also going to ask Mayor Coney, because you were here for, yeah. Yeah, I understand the briefing, but I didn't want to call it a briefing. I don't know whether we can say it also is a workshop. We don't want to use, I don't want to use the word workshop, but where we are taking on board. A briefing is something else. But how do we then deal with a particular bill when ourselves, as members of this legislature, we are also don't have the depth of it? I'm simply saying that arrangement must be made, mere legal advice, where we are taking on board on this matter, so that as and when we deal with this, members are able to understand. I'm saying this is good, this is a good briefing, but this briefing it does not talk to the understanding of some of us. I'm just putting it as such. That's why I want the legal office, legal advisor's office must then assist us, so that we don't use this time to, even if DG will assign Bunta Tefentere to take us through, let that happen for the sake of us and other members. But thank you very much, Bunta Tefentere. I'm not sure, honorable members, is there anything that members want clarity on?
Chair, can I just say, I had a look at these laws, and some of them tell a story of our history as well. I mean, the Shop Hours Act of 1979 by Botswana, it's actually part of our history. The Agricultural Bank of Botswana, I didn't even know they had an agricultural bank. So it tells a part of our history. It's actually, you can regard it as Afrikaner in that sense. So it's interesting. But yes, thank you, Chair.
And maybe my reasoning was on that issue. When I went through it yesterday, last night, and I realized that we needed to get more. That's why I don't want to use a workshop, because when you speak of workshop, other people get bored. The workshop is like a whole day, whatever you call it, a briefing or this interaction that Honorable Klute is talking about. It's very important for us. Maybe I must give over to the our legal advisor, Mesifo.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good afternoon, honorable members and DG and colleagues. Chair, indeed, after the briefing by the department, then the legal advisors of the committee will be preparing a presentation to the committee and make recommendations to the committee and during the committee session. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. It's good to be said in the meeting so that it's recorded, so that we stick to it. Thank you. DG, siyabonga ba. Thank you. Re ka kenya cocktail ke re salletswe ke 30 minutes to lunch. So ke sure ka tla try or push. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just being reminded, Honorable Klute, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Bulwane, and Honorable Metziu, that there was a presentation that was made at Jagersfontein. Remember, was not part of the meeting. And the presentation, when it was made, it was referred to the sitting. So, because we still don't form, I don't know whether I would want to take decision on that. Remember, if it's a concern of a committee, certain decision, but please give us a guidance. Merci for or when under the Chabani to say, I will hear from the members, but can you just give us an advice there?
Yeah, Chair, if the committee so decide to discuss it now, it can happen. Otherwise, the committee can make formal submissions to the department on the basis of the report. Maybe they can be submitted to me and consolidate them, submit them to the department. On the basis of their responses, we can prepare a report that will be decided by a committee in the next meeting.
Yes, Chair, I just want to make sure, but we have to report on the submission. No, us, to the House. Do we table a report?
Yes, if the committee is going to have a resolution, the report must go to the House.
Because our resolution should form, we should correct and, yeah. Okay. Abangene siswam. if is there anything they will want to say, so that you come prepared in the next endeavor. I know Honorable Klute wanted to say something, Honorable Metsi, so that in the next endeavor you are fully prepared. The other last thing, because I don't want to speak after them, is the issue that we are very serious on the issue of consequence management. And if the HOD, the CFO, and other relevant in terms of your hierarchy, they don't implement the method of consequence management and it affects value for money, then such people we are going to recommend as a legislature, because we can't wait for a person who doesn't even know how to implement misconducts. And he says he's waiting for what. I guess there are those frameworks that actually guide on a particular mismanagement, and consequence management must be taken, especially the issue of land invasion. Many people in the municipalities, they are taking sides kamahahapa, and I know that COGTA is supposed to assist in terms of support in such instances, and because we are also dealing with traditional leaders. So somebody must be blamed, and that somebody must be reminded of Batupele principle. If you give people to the land which is not yours, it's gonna, when litigations come out, who's gonna pay? HOD, are you gonna say, I am authorizing that a particular legal firm must go and fight on behalf of the municipality? Then if it's a director for Spluma, who did not take action, because we were reminded by SAPS, they must go and open a case so that people, once they give themselves land, they should act. So I'm raising it primarily from the corner of the value for money. Somebody must account. I might be speaking in parables, but I'm sure all of you would understand me what I'm trying to say as an example of consequence management. So we don't want stories of excuses every time when you come to the meeting. A person has done whatever misconduct at the level of, and it costs you money to go to court, and you come here and you want to give us a report that you are paying 450,000 for a particular employee. Why did we go to that level? Somebody must account for that money. And is it a senior manager or whoever? So I'm just highlighting it in that fashion. For now, maybe let me give over to Honorable and then give Honorable Metsi, and then after that we will then release your good selves. Maybe because you will not be taking an oath that the HOD will not allow you to speak. Thank you very much, and we want to apologize because it was not in our making that you had to wait. Again, we must do it formally. We were not going to go out and say, HOD, please go. We have to record this process. So pardon us. Honorable Klute.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, considering that we are requesting certain information for the following meeting, I would request 2 reports. And although they have to do with the Auditor General reports and it has to do with amounts which will be handled by PROPAC with the municipalities, I do feel that this committee should also take note of the fact that there were quite a few, I think 8 municipalities who did not submit their financial statements for the last financial year, which is worrying. So can this committee be provided with the details on why those municipalities did not submit? And then the other one is the issue of funded budgets. There are very few, I think ultimately there are 5 municipalities, of which 2 already are district municipalities which have funded budgets. And can the department just give us an indication? Only 4 have funded, 5 have funded budgets, the rest have unfunded budgets. And we would like to know what the reasons are for them. This will be handled in PROPAC, but we need to know what the reasons are. For is it a capacity problem? We need to know what the reasons are. So we can get those 2 reports by the next committee meeting.
Thank you, Honorable Klute. Honorable Metsi.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have a question. just so that I understand fully, I agree, then the department would be sent back. The annual performance plan, if not tabled today, when they come to report on the first quarter, what will they be reporting on? Because we would not have agreed to the APP as the committee. Is that not going to impact on them? I need to understand. Yeah, and I need to understand. And again, on the bill we understand. And again, can that amended APP? It's not in the documents that we're having. Okay. I need clarity. Maybe the coordinator would assist us.
Yeah, I think the coordinator will assist us. And then, but I spoke about the lack of proper planning. I think it was a concern when we were engaging around that. But I don't think it will be a problem, Honorable Tsiu. We'll have to jointly deal with maybe the first and the second quarter at the time they come. But Kitlokupan Date Chabani to say one or two on that matter. And then the department will then have to prepare itself as we are going to. It's just that our program is very tight, but if it was possible, would maybe call them anytime. But we'll speak to the chair of chairs to look at if we can get an hour sometime. Ne, or agar tusa programming man or slot in this matter, even if we have to do it through Fish One.
Not during the Repeal, though.
Yeah, no. That is how. That's you right.
Okay, honourable members. Yes, the APPs are normally distributed when they arrive in the legislature, normally distributed from the office of the Speaker. I will just confirm if they were distributed. If not, we'll make sure that honourable members get them.
Okay, we are fine. Please, that the HOD, if you know the Chinese, why I love them. When you enter into their premises, if you don't eat their food, well, they will not like you, the Chinese. So we are having lunch now at 1 o'clock. So we want to invite you to our lunch. So I want to take that philosophers of the Chinese, where you don't eat their food, they don't get happy. So you are invited to our lunch. We are going to have food. So we'll meet in the next session, which will be communicated to your office. And thank you very much to your delegation, Siyabonga. Yeah. Thank you very much. The committee has taken that decision. All right, honorable members, let's close our agenda formally and adjourn. Yeah, yeah, you'll make. There are committee stage. Agenda ya uliona muna ya fella. Bona haina adjournment, haina in. Hey, you are now type of the